Thanks, Jim, for the introduction, and thank you, Renovation Roundtable, for allowing me to speak this year again. Is everyone ready for a great couple days, looking at exhibitors and listening to some great speakers? I know it's like 9:30. Yeah. Wow, that's been I took a picture of that actually. All right, so actually today I'm going to talk to you a bit about, the challenge for me was that, okay, Jeff and Annie came to me and said, okay, Suresh, yeah, you want me to speak, but speak about something interesting. I said, well, I'm a marketer, everything's interesting. They said, no, contractors want to know how to help their business. And I said, okay, let's think about what would it take for a contractor to be marketing savvy in their daily routine. So that was a challenge, and my team and I came up with a presentation which feels a bit compelling, and hopefully we'll share some insights with you. But I'm going to take you through the framework that we use and the paradigm that I think most business owners should use. This is a quote from Carlos Castaneda, who had a very significant impact on my development when I was a teenager. I read his books. Those of you that know who Carlos Castaneda is, he was a botanist that went into New Mexico and did a lot of peyote. Found his calling and enlightenment. But had some really interesting insights, and it's an interesting quote as well. Really, the secret of success is within yourself and how you actually do your business and how you communicate that business to the marketplace. Before we start, some ground rules. We're also videotaping, taking photographs. It's going to be very socially integrated 2 days. If you're going to tweet, please use @JimCarrick_RCMag so you can be part of the live stream that's on the website of Renovation Contractor and also on all the other social platforms. And if you're going to just do anything else like Instagram and Twitter, hashtags, these are the hashtags you should use in addition to anything that you want to use to promote yourselves. I'll talk a bit about what that all means for those of you that don't understand that in a little bit as well. But, some other interesting things. I'm not a baseball fan anymore. After '93, I kind of gave up. But this is for all those other Jays fans out there. Go Jays today! And then I'm going to talk a bit about stories. And what I'm excited about is big league shoes. This is kind of the best gum in the world for me. So this is I need some interaction with the crowd. I want you folks to participate. These are going to be the prizes for those that actually participate. So, what is marketing? All right. Anyway, come on. Take a stab at what you feel marketing is, and keep it clean too. I know you. Go ahead in the back.
How to go about selling yourself.
Excellent. Steve, can you help me out here? That gentleman. Raise your hand again. Give him a big league shoe. That's great. Anybody else? Advertising. Can you expand on that a bit more?
Advertising your products.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Letting people know that they're available for out there.
Excellent. All right.
Brand development.
Brand development. Explain that a bit more. The gentleman over there. Raise your hand.
It's more of a long-term strategy, a broad approach to developing a brand instead of an advertising tactic.
I challenge you a bit more now. What is a brand for you?
A brand is everything about your business. A brand is what you stand for. A brand is your values. A brand is how you treat your clients, your employees.
That's actually pretty good. Sorry, your name is? That's a really good definition. Joel? Awesome. Very good, Joel. So, a lot of the folks in the world think that marketing is just those are those creative guys that nobody wants to pay attention to because they have big ideas that go nowhere. These are some of the words that people kind of use synonymously with marketing. And hopefully there's that tree of growth that people talk about. And if you do marketing well, that's what should happen. You should have growth in your business. But I'm going to give you a definition from the Business Dictionary. I use this online. This is what they're saying. Management process, which goods and services move from concept to customer. That's one definition. Here's two more. It's the American Marketing Association. Those folks seem to know what they're doing, and they're talking about processes and procedures, and they're a little bit more loftier because they want to make sure that you provide a sustainable impact on society. And Philip Kotler, who's some people say he's the father of management There he talks about satisfying the needs and wants through an exchange process. Here's our view. It's about storytelling. That's how we believe it. It's Renovate with marketing and branding and everything else. It's about storytelling, and those of you that heard me last year, or I've also spoken at a few places where we have a presentation on the top 10 ways to move prospects to customers. Shameless plug, it's on SlideShare if you want to go and view that. The videotape's there. But it's about storytelling, and our definition is this. It's really about providing the tools that the practitioner uses to convey that story to the marketplace, to create engagement, and provides that value that you're giving to the marketplace. And it's the value that you provide that someone wants to actually purchase. That's really what true marketing is. If you're doing something that no one's actually going to want to buy, then you're probably not doing it effectively. Your value is not there, so that means you're not using marketing really well. Because marketing tool set should help round out all that and make it better. So the secret to successful storytelling, again, anybody, storytelling, you've heard it for years, whether it's nursery rhymes or whether it's the fables that you heard, or whether it's big brands that do that really well. What do they do well that gets that story out to the marketplace? Anyone? Engage, yes. How do they do that? Get involved, excellent. Keep on going. What else? No problem. That's actually really good. It's a simple formula actually made up of two elements. Then the engagement and the involvement is really good because that builds the trust, right? Everyone knows what trust. People buy from people they like. Well, the trust is really important because there's some actual stats. 80% of customers recommend a trusted company and 82% will identify with that brand. And that gets into the whole marketing and satisfaction versus dissatisfaction, how that happens. It's really about driving that consistency, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. It takes years to build the brand of your business or yourself, whether you're looking at personal branding. It takes a moment to actually fail on that and lose that weekend. So here's some ways to develop those traits. And when you're looking at your business, it's important to understand that it's the higher service levels. It's about the transparency with yourself and your company. It's about the perception of similarity. And what that means is that when you engage your marketplace and your customer, you've got to explain to them how you understand their business and how you're similar to them. Like that means that you're walking in their shoes. That's what businesses expect from you, and that's what you need to do to actually engage the marketplace. I see folks taking pictures. That's fantastic. If you're doing the social piece, if you're looking at information on the slides, they will be posted for you. We'll send out the links to everyone as well. So just keep that in mind. And then the reliability factor. So you've got to be there when your customers need it. So you've got this great value proposition that you're presenting to the marketplace, and then when they call you on it and call you to task, you're not there, that reliability will kill the business. And then the competency. So you're talking about this value that you have, and you're talking about something that you don't actually know or do well. That'll happen once, and then you will not have a sustainable customer or even any sustainable growth. So it's important that you understand that. And the competency, that's something you really need to peel back the layers and understand what. And you're in a very strong, highly competitive marketplace, and strong values that are presented by a lot of companies. What you need to do is there are unique values that you have. You need to just reflect, and we'll talk a bit about how you can do that. But it's that sincerity that you need to present. And you're hearing words like, well, yeah, that's mushy, or that's really emotional. But that's the emotional connection that you need to create with your customers in order to make them repeat customers, and also important to make sure that they help with your word-of-mouth advertising, which again, I'll talk about later on how businesses like yourselves use that word-of-mouth advertising effectively. And then recovery. So you know what? You're out there, doing what you need to do, and it's great, but sometimes mistakes are going to happen. That transparency and recovery are two important elements when that happens. You need to manage through a crisis. You need to be transparent and say, okay, yeah, you know what? Our company did screw up, but this is what we're going to do in order to compensate and make the situation better. So, anybody, what keeps you up at night? This is an interesting one. I just heard a couple people. What keeps you up at night as a business owner? Keep it clean. Sorry? Task for the next day, okay. Problem solving, okay. Let's say great. What keeps me up at night is reputation. It's really, and if you look at most major corporations, Volkswagen as of late, that's really what's important, right, is your reputation. Those of you that don't know what's happening with Volkswagen is the CEO has had to resign, or we'd like to say resign. Because they made claims about their diesel efficiency, which weren't actually true. They were refuted, and they were found that they were lying in advertising. And as a result, the CEOs are generally part and synonymous of most corporate brands, and that's pay the price. So reputation management is really key. And reputation management comes down to, there's 4 phases in reputation management. We can go through a seminar on reputation management, but it's pretty simple. You build your reputation over the course of months, years, decades, and then you need to also monitor that. So, as you're building your reputation, if you're a new startup, even if you're a legacy business that's been in business for decades or some hundreds of years, you need to monitor that to make sure that you're always keeping a pulse in the marketplace. So, are we doing well? Are we doing well? And then, if you're not, you need to correct it, like we said with the trust, is how do you react and how agile are you as a business? You need to react, and then reinforce what you do. There's a variety of ways to do that. And I have an hour to go through this, but it's really important. I have no problem if you folks have questions to engage with me or my team. We'll be more than happy to send you links on ways that you can leverage this as a small business owner. But what's interesting is this has an impact if you don't do it well. Reputation has an impact not only on your sales, but on people that prospectively you want to hire, and then on press coverage as well. So I'm gonna see if this works. I'm not sure how effective the Wi-Fi is, but let's see if this works. How many people know Jerry Vance? No? No one? Might need sound. Okay. Just unplug it. I think this is funny. Just give me 2 minutes. Anybody in the room know Jerry Vance? We got 2 people. He's a fellow contractor. Is it?
It's a dishwasher right there.
And what did you say is happening?
There's water in the bottom. No? Okay. Thank you very much. You're the expert, I'll let you. Yeah, just let me know if you need me, I'll be in the next room.
Jerry of Express Appliance Service. Looks like another winner. As Steve predicted, the repair takes only a couple of minutes.
Well, that's that person's going to try to do something else.
He does have something else to do. Clamping the hose, then hitting the drain button. In more ways than one.
He's looking off to the other end for some reason. He's also taking a cup. He just peed in the cup.
Then he empties the cup in the sink, rinses it, and puts it back.
Hey. That's the cup I used to put my tea bags on. This one.
Yeah, so that's Marketplace, actually, the show that I had Jerry Vance, who's an MP, not for long, and he lost his entire business, his entire livelihood as a result of a stupid act like that. So reputation is really important, especially if you're a politician. that owns a contracting business. It'll be very hard for him to recover from that. He'll probably have to move to America where they accept that sort of thing. Social and online is a really effective way of delivering your business story. There's studies that show that this is not growing double digits, it's actually growing triple digit in most cases when people are looking at advertising spend. And the reason for that is it's simple and it has a long reach if you do it effectively. Now, I'm not going to tell you that, yeah, put a Facebook page up and you're going to grow your business overnight. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm actually not a proponent of But what I do ask you to do is, if you're not managing your reputation online, someone else is. In the case of Jerry, someone's doing it really well right now. But how many people in the room actually search their name? People, show hands, higher. That's pretty good. How many people actually search their business name? Excellent. How many people use Google Alerts to help do that effectively? Hashtag winning. So those of you that don't know, Google has this fantastic way of providing alerts. So what you do is you go to this URL and you add the alerts you want. Your name should be first and foremost, your company name, and then your competitor names. And what it'll do is it'll send you emails on alerts when it relates to that search criteria. I would ask that you do that, and this is my alerts that I've got. It's kind of it's our business. How we approach the market, my avatar online, and our business, and your email address as well. Email address is really key because as you build your social personas, other people, if they're stealing your identity, they can do that as well. It'd be interesting, it might be on Ashley Madison. I don't know if it didn't have this, right? Those of you that know the Ashley Madison fiasco, anybody? Somebody wants to raise their hand because they're probably sorry. Ashley Madison was a website that people wanted to have extramarital affairs would go on, and that's great. But what happened was the personal data got leaked, so that everyone that was on this site, you can find it if they were on the site. That's really interesting stuff. But at the end of the day, in terms of the trust and reliability and your social, everything you do in marketing, what's key is the consistency. And how do you create consistency? There's four ways. There's a number of ways, but these are the four that we find interesting. Employee service levels. So you might be a sole proprietor and you run the business. Your service levels are going to be what differentiate you from the marketplace. Even if you're the lowest price guy or lady, service level is still important because people want quality, even though they're looking at the price, and everyone knows that. Productivity tools, though. So we're going to talk about the experience of your brand. So brand for us means story. So how is your story and how people experience that story being conveyed to the marketplace? Product and service. So I know that a lot of you are in the service business, but they want that service to remain consistent. If it changes, then it needs to change for the better. And again, there's tools to help with that in terms of what must be there or what needs to delight customers, and how those must-be's, those delighters change to must-be's over the course of time. It's important for you to understand what that is in terms of not only yourself, your competitors, and then what's the marketplace expecting. And then measurements. So what's your response time? So you're measuring stuff all the time. Are you measuring the right stuff? People talk about data all the time. There's a lot of useful data and there's a lot of useless data. What you need to do as business owners and managers is to understand the data that I'm collecting, is it providing meaningful information to me and my business to make informed decisions to make us better. These are this is our tool set in terms of how we approach a process. There's 4 phases for us. It's discovery. So you discover what's the opportunities with the customers that we're in front of. We need to determine them. That's the next phase. Determine what's the best course of action. Then we execute. And then the 4th phase is evolution. Because once you execute, you need to measure and then constantly evolve. Because whatever you do isn't always right. And I know you're saying, well, yeah, we're doing basement, but yeah, that's good. But are you actually checking in with that customer and make sure that basement is well? Are they adapting? Do they need better needs? It's that life cycle approach that you need to really understand, because that separates you from the pack. And then in terms of the other side, that's how do you manage projects? So it's that resource allocation. You know, the resources you have, are you using them effectively? And there's some tools I'm going to share with you that can help with that if you're not doing it right now. But anything that I'm sharing with you today, if you don't have a process today, and this is how we do things today, and this is maybe how we need to do things tomorrow. If you don't know what that is, if any automation tools that I provide to you, it's just going to be garbage in, garbage out. First course of action is to actually understand your approach and your process. That's very simple, and it's really just how do I start something, and then how do we finish it, and fill it in between. And then the resources, how do I use them? So, we get back to this day in the life of. So you wake up, your morning routine, your office routine, and your project routine, and you go to sleep. We're going to share with you some tools, some engagement tools, some productivity tools, and then some relationship tools. So it's important as you're looking at those of you that are business owners, if you're a sole proprietor, or even if you've got like a large, small, medium enterprise, that's interesting. You need to understand that you're part of that brand, and you need to manage your brand effectively online. For those of you that are younger, and I don't think we have any of the colleges in yet, but the younger folks need to recognize that when they're online, the first thing that someone does when they want to do business with you, guess what they do nowadays? Anybody? That's right, they Google you. So it's important to understand. It's important to understand that whatever you have online is how the marketplace perceives you, and you need to manage that effectively. People are looking for leaders in whatever business transaction they're approaching. They want to know that they're in speaking with the leader, a trusted advisor. So to get that trusted advisor status, I know that you're all saying, well, I don't care about tweeting, or that's fine, because your competitors will. And they'll take news, let's say for instance, the news streaming, and then they'll use that to their advantage, because then they're taking that and communicating it to their network, and that's helping build their credibility and reputation online. In one of my talks, there's research that's showing that your credit score is not going to be how you run business in the future. It's going to be your reputation score online. So it's something to take into consideration on how you understand and how you're managing that as the online tools are becoming more and more part of our daily routine. So, these are the tried and true. You folks use those very well, most of you. And I'm going to say that you need to augment that with the new. So it's not only online marketing. There's going to be some other tools that we'll talk about. But everyone hears about digital marketing a lot, and there's emails, there's mobile, there's advertising apps, content. So you hear a lot of people say SEO, search engine optimization. Everyone knows that, right? Well, that's not the word that's being used anymore, because it's being replaced with content management. And content management encompasses all the content you have as a company and as an individual, and whether that's like ebooks or blogs or case studies or whatever you have. That's content, videos, and how you use that effectively online. So that's content. So if you're using content well, it drives your SEO up. And for Google, for instance, they have two algorithms called Panda and Penguin. Cute names, right? And those algorithms are very robust in that they're looking at content and ways to measure businesses if they're doing it well, to avoid any people that are trying to trick the system. So it's important that you understand now that what you have is content and knowledge. How are you sharing that knowledge to the marketplace? Social media, we're going to talk about e-commerce and the mobile. I'm going to talk a bit about some neat things that's changing in the mobile space. So we're going to do a bit of a social experiment, because a lot of people understand social media. They just think that, well, I'm not going to listen to it because that means I have to be on everything. That's not the case at all. So let's, for those people that say, yeah, I'm on everything, and it's great. I need one volunteer though. Someone, please. Thank you. Come on up here. And sorry, your name is?
Mark Cannon.
Mark Cannon. Thank you, Mark. We're going to give Mark a round. Please, Mark, please. All right, Mark. So today you're going to be on a few social platforms. This one's Twitter. This one's Facebook. This one's Instagram. Now, pick 3 tables because each table is going to represent one of those social platforms. So I just want you to randomly give one of those cards to each table. So the reason that Mark's doing that is that the social platforms are really just conversations that are happening. It's a community of people that are having conversations, and you need to be an active participant in those conversations in order for it to be effective, right? So, let's see, there we go. Can everyone just hold up the card so I understand? I know where they're at. Yeah, please, hold your mic. Excellent. So, the Twitter folks over here, that's great. You can just pretend that you're conversing and share everything that you're doing up to the minute, every minute, as part of the day. The Instagram folks, just continue taking selfies of yourself and sharing it with the world. Facebook folks, just, talk about how great your lives are and share it with all your friends and family. Mark, I'm going to ask you to see if, as they're having conversations, go ahead and see if you can get involved in those conversations. I need you to spend as much time as you think as the other conversations are going on. Go ahead. Just hear me here. So, you need a selfie stick there, Instagram? No? Your camera's full. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, these Mark. Instagram folks are having a good time here. I don't know. Facebook's 2 people. That sounds about right. It's your face. So we advertise? All right, so Mark's stuck on Twitter because I think he just likes tweeting, I guess. But yeah, keep on. Thanks. He's not doing Facebook. Okay, so as Mark's doing that, I mean, the point of this experiment is this. Conversations are happening all the time on those social platforms. If you're stepping away from the conversation, there's no way for you to engage it consistently. So it's important that if you pick social platforms to leverage, that you're actively involved in the community. Just post and then say, I'm not doing that anymore. Okay, I'm in and I'm out. It's not helping your business. So Mark's and I are talking about Facebook folks, but again, I think they're shit. So were you able to keep involved with all the conversations? Yes. Oh, you were? What were those guys saying?
One of her friends, and then they would be to others. So that's the way to spread out more. We're still talking.
What were they talking?
I think.
And these folks?
They're taking selfies.
Oh, they're taking selfies, guys. Okay. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. A round of applause for Mark, please. So, Mark. Enjoy. No, that's good. Okay. So, yeah, the best way for a business to understand what social platforms to approach is understand where the conversations that you want to be participating in are happening. So, who's my target audience? Where are they speaking? And then, how do I engage them with transparency and sincerity? Because being genuine online is important as well. All these folks that try to go on and involve in a conversation with the false pretense that, hey, I want to be your friend on LinkedIn, and then you connect with them, and then all of a sudden, I've got this great way to help grow your business. We do content curation. You really didn't want to connect with me and talk about how we can share ideas or knowledge. That's why I'm on LinkedIn. But so you need to get away from that sort of tactic because people see that and then you're dismissed from them in terms of being a valued member of the community. Dismissed in 2 ways. One is they'll tune you out. The other is they'll block you or not follow you or disconnect you. So it's and people are, again, there's one youth in the audience. How many people know Snapchat? Yeah, a few folks. They know why they have the ghost as the icon? No, it's because there's some scary shit happening on Snapchat and you don't want to actually people to see. Thank God that it actually is only a limited amount of time, because with Snapchat you take videos or still pics that you can repurpose into videos, and then it's there for a limited amount of time. And it self-destructs. It's kind of like, this message will terminate by. So there's a lot of interesting things happening on Snapchat, from the youth all the way up to the adults. It actually started as a sexting platform, so that you can send interesting videos to your love, or maybe not love, individual, and and then you can not have any evidence. What people don't realize is that whatever you do on a digital device, guess what? Yeah, it's there forever, because there's definitely ways to take a screenshot, or what else can you do? Some people periscope it from another phone. Yeah, that's it. Whatever you do online, don't think that it's not there forever. It's there forever and ever. And if Mark Wahlberg allows you to use it, it's there forever, and he can actually use it to make sales and advertising. So that's good for him. There's the reason I was saying that was like a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you folks saw in your post that, hey, they're changing the Facebook laws, and you need to repost this to say that you're not going to use my likeness or anything. And anyone see those in their posts? Their friends were sharing that? Isn't that the silliest thing that you've ever seen in your life? Is no one's actually read the agreement when you actually sign up to Facebook, that whatever you post on there is their property. And then what's funny is that you're on the platform and you're saying, okay, I'm going to continue to be on the platform that you own and I'm going to use, and you can't use my stuff that I'm posting up. It's not going to happen. Whatever you put on your social platforms is there for everyone. Even if you make it private, someone else is going to see it and repost it. Think that way. Whatever you do online can be viewed by anyone. So, here's Snapchat. So as I mentioned, understand your target audience. Where they're having conversations, and engage them and integrate wherever possible. And what I mean by that is that those conversations I talked about, Mark was having a interesting time trying to understand what was going on or stay consistently engaged. Integration is key. So here I was taking my daughters to the orthodontist, and they were actually integrated biometrics now. So when you check in, you just scan your finger and then you pop up and your profile's there. What I did was I went on Instagram, because it wasn't selfie. And then Instagram has some tools, so you can actually integrate your other social platforms. All the social platforms have this ability in one way, shape, or form, so you leverage it. And then that way, when you do an Instagram post, it actually posts to your Twitter as well. So simple techniques and tactics like that allows you to stay engaged and involved in the social platforms that make sense for you. And then here's one of the tools that I'll talk about, Follower Wonk. The tech guys have amazing names. I love these guys. Follower Wonk is an app that allows you to understand the Twitter analytics as it relates to yourself and those around you. It allows you to identify opinion leaders in the industry that you want to align with. What's important with that is that opinion leaders are individuals that have a very large community and have an influence in the marketplaces that they're involved in. You want to follow those individuals first, learn from them, and then engage them. Either, I would say offline first, because you can be sincere about what you're trying to do, whether it's learn from them or leverage them, and then see how they can help you. But Follower Wonk is one of the tools that helps you find, analyze, and optimize for social growth. So I talked about how yourselves as individuals wanting to get to that opinion leader status, it's really easy. I mean, the individuals that you'll see that are opinion leaders are just people that chose to stay active and involved in the communities that they selected, whether it was YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. They were just consistently there, and because they were there sharing something that was relevant to a key group of people, it was shared, and then they became, individuals that people went to as a trusted advisor because they were reliable and they had a reputation. An easy way to do this is that all of you in the wake up and your daily routine, some of you read the news, right? We won't talk about where you read the news at, but that time that you spend reading the news, share what you're reading in terms of the insight or even just a news article that you're reading, because it's giving people an understanding of what your interests are. So there's an interesting way to do that. There's 3 apps that I use. Flipboard is an awesome app because it helps you stream content. So does Feedly. Dig allows you to find content, but what they all do is takes, like in this case, I read Wired and Gizmodo and Mashable religiously. But as I wake up in the morning, they give you a feed. So the feed allows me to say, okay, I'm selecting this story, and then I can share it on my social profiles. So I read the story, I have an interesting insight on it, and then I share it. And it's helping curate the content that I want to share to the marketplace. How many people in the room have a Google page for their business or themselves? The Google Plus. Few of you. Okay, so that's important. Why that's important is that, guess what? Who owns Google? Search, Google, right? And in terms of the optimizing the algorithms, they're going to look at the Google Plus pages as another element of that ranking. So Google Plus is really important for brand curation, and you need to, if you're not there today, if you have a Gmail account, you have the ability to set up the Google Plus. So those of you that are using Gmail either for business or personal, you can use that really effectively. How many in the room have a sales process, a way to approach finding leads, generating leads? Good, excellent. So, care to share how you actually? No, you don't want to share.
Through referrals and through soft marketing, social media, kind of like that.
Excellent. Yes, please.
Pretty much the same way. I'd say that the majority of it is all through referrals, but there is some software that we try to engage in.
And the referrals, how do you get those referrals? Is it word of mouth, or is it online, or is it a combination?
It's all word of mouth.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Those of you in the room that don't have a sales process, I'm sure that there is one there. You just haven't taken the time to actually sit down and say, okay, this is how I do things. It's part of your natural routine. It's important to document it though, because whether you're building the business for a legacy transition, or to sell it, or you're going to do it forever, those of you that are immortal, that's excellent. You need to document it because it allows you to make it repeatable. And your success as you're refining this approach can only be sustainable if you're constantly refining that and fine-tuning it. So document what you're doing today, and it allows you to identify ways of improving tomorrow. So this is just a simple, how do I generate leads? How do I qualify those leads? How do I build awareness with those leads that I have? And then how do I gain interest? And then there's actually a management, a marketing process that follows awareness, interest, desire, action. So this model has the awareness and interest. Then where does that handoff happen to say, okay, now this is a qualified lead, they have interest, they want me to provide an estimate, or I've provided the estimate. Where does that handoff happen for follow-up to say this is a customer in our pipeline, it's just a timing matter. So you need to really think about that in terms of how my sales optimization process is. And for you two gentlemen that are here talking about your sales process, how do you keep track of those leads today? Do you have a CRM?
Base. We use Base.
Base, okay.
It's more paper trail.
That's fine. It's like Excel or Word or something.
Yeah.
Excel?
No, well, now we're just getting into it.
Oh, okay, excellent, excellent. Sugar UX is Sugar CRM is customer relationship management, is one tool. Going to this platform, I mean, you can go to it, and I'm sure there's consultants out there that will help you at no charge to get it on the platform. But I would say identify your sales process, use Excel or some simple tools that are out there. There's a lot of free tools out there, but I would say first, get the process in place, start using that process and capturing leads, and how do you manage those leads effectively to conversion. Each business has a different definition of what conversion means. Conversion is that point, tipping point where an action created a reaction that was positive for you, right? So what is that reaction that you wanted, right? It could be, you know, I want an estimate, or you know what, I want, a purchase order. You need to identify for yourself what those conversions are, and then make sure your selling process is in line with that. Then comes the tools after that. Those tools then help you be more effective in the field, whether it's through mobile or, you know, empowering your sales team or your by the way, I know everyone in the room knows that every employee is a sales rep, right? So they're frontline ambassadors for the company, so you just need to make sure that they've got the tools that they need, or they have the process in line with what they need to do. Time tracking. Anybody in the room use time tracking software? A few of you. Good for you. This is for us as well, you know, being a consultancy, it's really important because you have clients, right? And, you know, time is money for everyone in the room, but it's really hard to keep track of what's going on or what you're doing. These tools help you, you know, on your smartphone, you know, you'll have the drop down and you'll have your customer profiles and you start and stop. It's like a stopwatch, and then you can program how to use that effectively and the costing associated for each customer or each task. You can do task management and allocation for your teams. It's a really effective way to manage teams, and there's a lot of free tools out there. So, you know, if you know, Office Time is one of them. There's Toggle, there's a few others out there, but Office Time is interesting because it integrates well with some other platforms. And we talked about, okay, I don't know everything that there needs to know, or I'm a single person shop. How do I stay on top of all this stuff that you're telling me, Suresh? That's where if this, then that comes in. So, interesting app, because it allows you to select the channels that you're using currently, and then it gives you some recipes. So here's a recommendation. If this happens, what would you like to happen? So if I get this kind of post from the news, then it makes sure that it goes to Facebook, or make sure it goes to Instagram. So this is a really neat tool because it helps you build your productivity. So these recipes become the way that you enable your business forward, because it's creating actions. And those actions can even happen with email. So if you get an email from your info at account, it goes to, here's your response. So it's really, really good tool. A lot of you have accounting software. Those of you that don't, I mean, this is one that we use. We love FreshBooks because it's really intuitive. It's cloud-based as well. So if we're in with a client or someone else, we can on the fly create the invoices, send it over to them. It's all e-enabled, so they get an email, and bless you, and then the payment and everything else is done. But there's a lot of accounting software that's out there. If you don't have an accounting system today, or if you're doing it through paper and you've got an accounting, that's great. Having another tool like this to complement it can only help you, because it allows you to, as your litmus test, to say, okay, yeah, this all makes sense, or you know what, I'm a little bit off in terms of what I'm doing. Hootsuite, this is a tool that's used by small companies all the way up to corporations. It's a way to manage all your social personas. A really good tool because it gives you the analytics as well. So analytics meaning that the measurement and metrics of how effective I'm using these platforms, that's what Hootsuite can help with. And Asana, this one's interesting. Actually, this is new for my team as well. We're going to start using this. Asana, we use Basecamp today. Basecamp's a project management software that really helps us understand. We start a project, here are the tasks, here are the discussions, here are the files. Asana takes it, I think, a step forward. It actually integrates with all the other platforms like Evernote, Dropbox, and a variety of others, but it helps you have team conversations. So if, let's say, for instance, Renovation Contractor was our client, and we're having all these sub-projects with them. Asana helps you with that, helps with the discussions, helps with, you know, creating the consistency and the understanding of what needs to get done to improve our reputation and the trust with our clients. So really, really awesome tool. I'm not going too much into the tools because the tools all have videos on how they're used, and so far they do a much better job than me trying to explain the tools. So I'm just trying to highlight the tools for you. But experience, and you know, I purposely actually put that washroom sign in there, not because there's a lot of plumbers in the room, but experience, and experience matters. For ourselves, you know, part of our business is actually looking at consumer insights and behavior. And when you're building, you know, from our past on retail, how you manage or traverse a retail landscape, to how you actually have consumers or patrons going through a washroom, is something that you have to look at when you're looking at experience. So as from the moment they go to, you know, the urinal to the actual sink, the way that they use the sink in relation to the lotion in relation to, you know, the blower in relation to not having a garbage can outside so you can throw your towel, because some people don't like, you know, grabbing the door after they wash. So those are elements and insights that you need to understand. And that's the kind of, I'm not going to say science, but more just of an understanding of how I'm approaching a customer and what their expectations are. So you're kind of doing your, we call it journey mapping. So journey, it's a marketing term just to say, what's the first contact point? What's the activation point for you and your prospective customer? And then what's their journey going to be after that point? So how are you enabling the conversation to continue? It's something that you need to think about. And it's really quite simple. If you're only using, like, let's say, advertising, direct mail, online, those are three things. So how am I going to make sure that they go to online? How do I get them to direct mail? So you're leveraging all the tool sets you have. You're really ineffective if you're just doing all those three things in silo. They all have to integrate somehow. Whether it's, you know, linear, it's never actually linear, but whether it's the advertising comes first to the website or the website, you need to think through that. And then, you know, we're going to talk about advertising in a second, but, you know, a lot of people think that, okay, advertising, you know, I got to go, and it takes a lot, and I got to get Photoshop, and, you know, that was 5 years ago. There's so many online tools now, Pixlr, and I did all the actual changes to images using this. It's a cloud-based platform. Why that cloud-based platform is important is because, I don't know if you've ever worked on a presentation or, you know, a document or something, and your computer crashes. That never happens, right? With cloud, it's always connecting, and it's going on to the ether, right? So it's always there for you. So if it crashes, you've got your backup already there. With Pixlr, it gives you like a Photoshop light in terms of managing the manipulation of images. And you can create, as you can see, you can create some really, really interesting images. The other one is Canva. Then I use this a lot as well, and it actually can help with your social media. If you want to do like a Facebook cover or a Facebook post or Instagram post, they can help with that. Even if you're looking at your banners. So, you know, when you're looking at your social platforms, you need to look at your entire profile in terms of what your brand looks like to the marketplace. It needs to be consistent. So this tool can help you actually create that. And you're doing presentations. You know, many of you may not be in the business of actually doing a presentation to a client if you're in the renovation space. But I would say that actually sitting down and spending the time to actually put a few pages together. This is our approach. This is how we're doing it. This is what your decor looks like. Let's sit down with them, and this is what they're after. It's kind of building to your process, and it's helping them feel engaged, and they feel a little bit more that it's more of a guest type of relationship, which you really want them to feel. This is kind of the Canva tool set, so you go into it and you can select from templates, and it's really intuitive. It's drag and drop, and then you can, it's like using PowerPoint. Really, really cool software. And then you do all this cool stuff. You're doing a great renovation, and I'm sure that you're all sharing it with everyone on the social platforms. But Scoop It is a way for you to help with your PR. So it actually helps you once you've got like a story. Let's say you've done something really unique, and then you want to share with everyone. Scoop It allows you to help share that. So it enables you to be your PR engine. And it also helps with that. I said you've got all this content that, and you may not know how to use it. Scoop can help you content curate. So how do I take one piece of literature and make it useful for something else? It helps with that. So what makes a good website for contractors? And I'm not pulling this website out because I think it's great. I think there's opportunities that it's good and some areas where it's bad. I think the personal branding is really good. I promote that whenever I can because, again, I said before, trust, reputation, and people buy from people they like, right? So they want to know that the person they see online or on the van is the person that I'm meeting in my home, because now I feel empowered. I've got this expert in front of me, right? So I'm willing to pay for that value. So that was good in the actual fact that they've got content that they're actually posting on YouTube. The second largest search engine in the world is YouTube, right? Everyone knows that. So video is rich media, and rich media is really important. And you don't have to be a professional videographer like my director of videography there, which is fantastic if you have the budget. But if you need to do it small scale, there are ways to do that. And there's organizations that will help with that. There's a way, we would help with that too. Like, here's your platform, this is how you do it, and Bob's your own. Or maybe not your own. So what we look at for website is, it has to have an appealing design. It needs to be one-step navigation, especially if you're looking at, this is a contractor site, right? I'm speaking about a contractor site. What I mean by one-step navigation is that you need to click once and then you get to the information you want. Any more complicated than that, if you're a contracting site, then you're doing it wrong. When you're talking about large organizations like the Home Depots of the world, then they're a little bit deeper in terms of what they need to be, and 3 steps is where we generally look at in terms of your clickstream for information on those types of sites. Personal branding, a unique story, so what's your value differentiation? Built for content curation, so I talked about all this content that I have, how do I repurpose it? So it's always new. You have a website that's static for years, and the shoemaker has the worst shoes, right? We've got a website that's been there for 5 years because we're helping everybody with theirs. So we're relaunching our website next week, Alex? Next week? And it's going to be a lot more robust than we're going to be walking the talk. Responsive design is very important though. And what I mean by that is that the website scales to a mobile device. And it's very easy. If you're on a laptop right now, you want to look at whether my website's mobile responsive, you go to the right and get the double arrows and you pull it to the left, and if it actually scales and changes the content to the side, you're mobile responsive. Or the other way is to just look on your mobile phone. And it's built on a grid. The grid needs to scale so that you don't have these people, when they're looking at your website, pinching and expanding. That pinch expand is the death knell for any website, because especially with the demographics of where the boomers are, and anyone that actually needs glasses, it's very hard for them to do that pinch expand. So you need to make sure that the fonts all scale and the responsive design helps with that. And then a simple contact form. So I've seen so many websites, and they go on it, and I'm like, wow, this is a really neat website. How do I contact them? And they just have a contact us and their address and email, and that's it. There's no form to fill out. Why would you use your website as a mechanism to actually capture and nurture your lead generation? So the contact form also capture the first name, last name, email address, and what they're looking for in terms of inquiry. That's simple. Why is that important now, today more than ever, in Canada? Can anybody? It's 2 for you, isn't it? Canadian anti-spam law. Castle is legislation that actually passed last year and fully activated January this year. Canadian anti-spam law, and it means that you cannot keep information from individuals or communicate with them if they haven't done business with you. And it's going at implied versus explicit consent, and you need to make sure that you're capturing information effectively. The contact form is one way for you to get that consent so that you can now use that individual to convey newsletters or keeping you in touch. It's just a very smart approach to lead nurturing. And link diagnosis is a tool that, so you're talking about SEO, and some of you may not have the budget to hire an agency to help you. But you need to recognize that there's links embedded in your website, whether you purposely did that or not. Link diagnosis helps you identify whether there's broken links. So it'll tell you here are the links that you need to fix on your website. A simple tool for that. And then DocuSign. So we're getting back to the experience piece on your business routine. We're guilty of this ourselves. So we're in front of a client, and then you need a non-disclosure sign, and I'm phoning Alex or car recruiter and saying, hey, you know what? Can you send an NDA to this client? And the client's going to scan it, send back. DocuSign enables all your documents. So not only do you get the signature on your fancy device or iPad, it goes into the document management system, so that now it's tracked and then you can manipulate it through your business process, which you've already gone through and identified and understand. So really, really cool tool. And I'll get into advertising. So what makes advertising compelling? It's really simple. We have this really easy mantra, which is evocative imagery, simple messaging. We challenge ourselves on that every time. Whether we're looking at a website, whether we're looking at a print ad, whether we're looking at even a flyer or even a business card. Simple messaging, evocative imagery. And then delivering a value proposition is very key. So we talked about that value differentiation that you identified. We need to make sure that that's consistent. And then a strong call to action. So here's some ads that I pulled. And how many people think, which of these ads do you think is the best? I'm just going to scroll through it. This one? Show of hands. This one? Some? Yeah, okay, so raise your hands for this one. Why did you choose that one? Fair enough, and that's exactly, that's perfect. That's absolutely right. This one actually has, it takes someone to say, okay, imagine this, it's challenging you. That's your call to action. Imagine your house is this. Here's what we do, more than 1,000 homes remodeled. That talks about the reputation and the trust. And it has a really simple way to contact, right? Whereas these ones are trying to say everything. When you talk about a discount, if you're presenting your business with a discount, you've already devalued your brand. So now the individual calling you in, guess what that individual is? They're looking for a better price than you already said on the 20%. It changes the conversation. This one starts the conversation off with, you imagined it, you called us, so guess what? We're sitting down having a valuable conversation on how we can help make your dreams a reality. And here's two, those are some quarter pages. Here's a full page. So, yeah, I won't go into this too much, but yeah, wow. I think that's high. Looks like it's high. I'm not sure why that is. And then you got this 100% guarantee. Very simple layout, and it talks about it, tired of waiting all day for an electrician. So yeah, people can actually, yeah, I am. And I've had this problem and no one's called me back. So, interesting approach. But here's some companies that have done it really well. If you do an ad well, you don't even need copy sometimes. This is Volkswagen's new ad, and it's talking about turn on your adventure. I chose Volkswagen because I kind of brought that up earlier, and I just it's going to be streamed, so I don't want to get sued. So turn on your adventure, over 620 miles on a single tank. That's brilliant. And this one's Lego. We talk about advertising and nostalgia and that emotional connection. This is talking about Lego, and remember when you used to make planes or boats out of your Lego? All right. So how do you create a strong brand image with uniforms? How many people know which company this is? Yeah. Right, UPS. UPS is great at this because they have that standard of, this is what Brown can do for you. They actually have in their training how drivers have the key. So they have a key on, I think, their ring finger, so when they're there, that it's an immediate startup. So they kind of optimize their entire process, but the uniforms is synonymous with their brand. So as you're looking at uniforms, and if you're not using uniforms, it's important for you to leverage this, because it's another way of you communicating with and leveraging your brand ambassadors, that's yourself or the individuals you have in the field, as part of your company. So I'm not suggesting bright orange and a hello sticker, but you get the point, right? Make sure that you have your brand logo and mark on your left breast or where you want it, so that when people come there, they understand that this is the service I get from X company. And then, we've got some great exhibitors today in Dodge and Ford, Chrysler and Ford. But as, the vehicles are there, how do I take that vehicle and enable it to become a mobile marketing device? And yes, I said mobile marketing because it's not only a smartphone or iPad. You need to look at how do we take that and create compelling messaging. Compelling messaging in that you need to realize as well, it's on a vehicle. So that vehicle's driving. So you want to make sure it's very simple, very clear what you're delivering, and a very strong message too, so it stands out. I always think of it like this: you're not always in traffic, so make sure that when that vehicle's speeding along, that it's like a beacon for your organization. And you've done this whole service and how I approach the business. But don't be shy as well once you finish that project. How many people ask for a rating after they finish the project? Very few of you. That's something that you really need to think about. And that goes for the business associates as well. A lot of companies don't go back and ask for the referral, whether that's a case study or whether that's, can I have you use your front lawn for my project signage? And then what you do need to know now is that referral now becomes part of your localization effort. So in that area, how am I now using that lawn sign to activate other other opportunities for projects. So the door hangers become more localized. The direct mail pieces become more localized into that area. Because guess what? The Joneses are going to always want to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, last year in my neighborhood, the steel roof guy made a killing because we had the one house, and then every single individual, beside, 3 or 5 house range got steel roofs just because they didn't want to look like they were keeping up. Take advantage of that. And it's not take advantage of the, from the standpoint of take advantage of the consumers. Take advantage because they're going to say, hey, you know what? I didn't really think of that, or I'm actually thinking of that other project, and because Jane used them, they must be trusted. So the lawn signage is important. As I was driving, this is actually in my neighborhood. I was driving. I don't know, finished basement in 2 weeks. I don't know if that concerns me or if that's wow, but I guess they're going to be in front of me saying, yeah, if you went with this system, it's 2 weeks, but it's important when you're looking at the same guidelines for advertising apply. So simplicity and clarity are important, but sincerity is important as well. Be genuine with your communication. Don't use any tricks or tactics to get in front of the customer because they're going to be very short-lived. And then it's important to those ratings I talked about. So how many people know HomeStars, Trusted Pros, Contracting.ca, Rate Trades, Contractors Check? One person in the room. Yelp. How many people are on Yelp? Nobody's on Yelp. Nobody was on my talk last year. Yelp is important because one of 2 reasons. One is because for search, when you do a Google search, Yelp is helping with that SEO. Number 2, how many people have iPhones? When you ask Siri for advice on closest restaurant or business, guess what Siri's using for? Sorry? Yes, Yelp. Get on Yelp. Yelp's important, and I ask you because Yelp changed like Google. If you're searching from Mississauga, or if you go to Burlington and search, it's going to be a different search. Search your business on Yelp to see where your ranking is, and then understand what those other businesses are doing in terms of getting that referral rating. Leverage your customers and projects that you have to get your business up. And yeah, through your morning coffee as you're looking at Feedly or Flipbook, also Yelp My Business to see what's going on. So what do you do first? You need to understand who your customers are. You need to manage leads to conversion. You need to improve that trust and reputation. Leverage old and new tools. Localize your efforts and ask for the rating. That's all I have to say. You can contact me through these forums, or you can ask me for a business card, and I'll be more than happy to not only share the presentation, I'm going to give it to Jeff and Annie to post as well, and I'm going to have it on SlideShare. So all that information is there for your. Thank you very much for your time.